peace, prosperity, and love, beautiful people. Welcome to Gracefully Imperfect, a podcast for the Black and African diaspora in material of socioeconomics, politics, religion, and so forth. The centrality of this podcast is immersive empathy, introspection, deep thought, soul-serving conversation and communication, all in the light of unlocking the keys to vulnerability and transformation. During our time together, we will engage in topics related to mental and spiritual health experiences, the intersectionality of mental health and creativity, identity and culture, and any and all things related to healing from trauma, gathering insights, cultivating a deep sense of knowing, and repairing soul wounds. In the essence of communal love and collective consciousness, let us open our minds, lighten our hearts, settle our spirit, access soul intelligence, and affirm the richness of our humanity.
Peace, love, and blessings in abundance to all of you. We are back again for another episode of Gracefully Imperfect with your host, Kyle Toon. For all those who are new to this podcast, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I am a man, I'm a Black man of African descent by way of Barbados on the paternal side and by way of the Bioko Islands on the maternal side. And as you can tell, I am an English speaker, so therefore my ancestors were caught up in the Maafa, the great disaster that is called the enslavement of African people. And I am extremely grateful to be sharing light, sharing space, holding space, and establishing and maintaining community with all of you. Gracefully Imperfect is all about embracing our vulnerability and unlocking the keys to transformation, liberation, and soul restoration, especially in a time where there is so much calamity, stress, depression, systemic loneliness, systemic lovelessness, spirituallessness, and all the rest. This is a time where we can reclaim and own and reimagine a reality that goes beyond the European concept of individualism, materialism, that goes beyond the values of competition and perfectionism. So if you were here, that is your way, or what I believe is your way of communicating that you want to seek human transformation and you want to expand and you want to broaden your consciousness. Welcome. I will also want to say thank you, my beloved and beautiful ancestors, for providing me the strength, the courage, and the ability to be here. Thank you for your protection. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your safekeeping and your watchfulness. And for all of those who are watching and being a part of this process, I hope that you remain connected to the source of your strength, of your survival, of your joy, and of your hope. As you can see, the setting is different. I am back we are back in our humble abode. We spent the last 30 days in Jamaica and Kingston, and it was phenomenal. The experience is beyond words. We spent a lot of intimate time with each other, in nature with our sister who lives out there in Kingston. And we got to experience Kingston and the countryside in all of its natural beauty. And I am forever grateful that I was able to share space and with such a great place that's filled with so much richness and culture and heritage. And I speak of strength, and there's just so much strength that's exhibited by the Jamaican people. They are the epitome of a revolutionary island that will not bend or bow to the oppressors. And I understand that there is a lot of issues there, a lot of concerns there, a lot of residual impacts from colonialism and neocolonialism. And just like all of us and the rest of the world, we stand in solidarity with all of you. And we know that that there will be a great awakening. So I am coming into this podcast conversation. I have been changing and modifying what it is that I wanted to really examine and expound upon. And so much has been touching my heart, and so many things has been really eating at my soul. And so Spirit has been really guiding me lately to look at love very intimately and very deeply. I just finished doing a radio interview with a good friend and mentor, Mark Tuggle. And one of the questions that was asked of me is, what is mental health? And what is a liberation social worker? And I don't think I gave a thorough enough definition. I believe the definition that I gave would suffice for that context. I did highlight that mental health is more than just reacting or responding to the symptoms of distress. It goes beyond just feeling a feeling or experiencing an event. And it's not always just dealing and managing and being at risk to trauma, pain, and adversity. It goes beyond that. And to be liberated, and to be of a liberation mind, we have to look at things more broad, more deep. And so the answer that I gave was that mental health is about congruency. It's about aligning of consciousness. And so I gave that definition. And then also I gave the definition of what is a liberation social worker. And I said a liberation social worker, from my perspective and through my journey, and based off the wisdom and the insights that have been passed down to me, is that a liberation social worker is about centering, healing, liberation, soul-serving mediums, processing experiences. It's about untethering ourselves from the European, the Eurocentric worldview. It's about untethering ourselves from anything that is inhibiting human transformation and expanding and broadening and creating a more courageous consciousness. Liberation social work is about not feeding or aiding or being complicit to the status quo. It's about creating and procreating ecosystems that are valuable, enriching, and culturally affirming, anchored in spirituality, morality, and ethics. And I understand that is very loaded, and I would love to get into that deeply. I would love to be able to uncover some of those things and some of those aspects. But the reason why I brought that up is because as I provided that explanation, I thought about, how did I come up with all of this? How did I get to a point to where the knowledge began to flow effortlessly? And I don't say that to be vain. I say that with the understanding that I didn't do it on my own. That me sitting here, me wearing this, and me talking is not me doing this as an individual. I am a social self. I am an extension of my ancestry. I am not Kyle, the individual. I am Kyle, the family man. Kyle, the ancestral listener. I am Kyle, the social self. You dig? And then what struck me is the fact that everything that I have went through, from childhood to my adolescence and military and college education, relocation, deployments, you name it. I've always came back to this this phenomenon. I've always came back to it. And this phenomenon that I speak of is the very thing, the very core substance that fuels why I speak, why I write, why I read. It is the very thing that I was taught at an early age to set the foundation for why it's so valuable and relevant today. It is the very core substance that Black people, for centuries, for millennia, have continuously harnessed and channeled and amplified and shared seamlessly. It is the very core substance that is of divine material. It is the fuel that creates civilizations. It is the fuel that erected the pyramids and temples and tombs. It is the very core substance that also creates breakage and misunderstanding and discord and distress and trauma, etc. It is the very thing that doesn't get its proper due. especially in the context of helping and being a healer and being an activist or an advocate of some sort or of any sort. The core substance that I speak of is love. And as I gave that definition of on that radio show, and as I began to speak more about liberation social work on that beautiful platform, I just had that felt sense come over me that all of this, all of the pain, the joy, the understanding, the misunderstandings, the agreements, the disagreements, the paradoxes that causes tension and stress and all of the life experiences that sometimes go without being digested and absorbed in a way to enable and to nourish and to nurture growth. Love is the undercurrent. Love is always present. Love is always and forever will be the highest expression of humanity. And so when I do Gracefully Imperfect or the Creativist publication or Soul Medicine, or that's through Creativist, I don't do it because I think that it's just the best thing for me to do, or I am so passionate about it that I want to share my talents and share my gifts and share my knowledge. No, that's not it. And the very person that taught me about love in the revolutionary sense, not the foundational sense. The foundational sense I got when I was a kid from my grandmother, my great aunt, cousins, the Black church. They taught me that love is possible. They taught me that love is divine and love is spiritual. What they didn't prepare me for is the perils ahead. And so therefore, even though I had that foundation, I didn't have a working model, an adaptive working model to help me through the trials and tribulations and the distresses of life. But when I met my wife, she taught me a great deal of how to love through imperfection and through sickness. How to love someone with an alien conscious. And it was I who had the alien conscious. I did not see myself nor view myself as an extension of my ancestry. I didn't see myself as a spiritual being. I didn't see myself as a helper and a healer. I did not view my life as valuable. I thought dignity was earned. I thought worth and value was externally validated. I thought the only way to cope with reality is to escape from it. And so my wife taught me a great deal of what love is, even when the person doesn't love themselves. And that constant showing up of wanting to be there to nurture and nourish a person's spirit by showing them unconditionally that you value their essence beyond their physical makeup, that you see their potentiality beyond their inability to see themselves as a creative being. The type of love that she showed me was an empowering love that was just, it's overwhelming to think about because I could not grasp it. It was unfathomable. It really was. She continued every single day to speak life and love into my being. Times where I would just be so drunk and out of it that she still would love on me, that she would still caress me, that she would whisper in my ear, that she would hold me and let me know that my life is sacred. The very woman who chose to love me through my faults and then offer her beautiful body to procreate children. Wow. So what is love? And I ask that honestly. What is love to all of you? How do you define love? How has love showed its face to you through your life experiences? Is love merely just a feeling? Is love merely just a felt sense? Or is love beyond affect and emotion? When do we make love a reality? And I ask you these things not to stump you, not to quiz you. I ask you because in a society where there is so much lovelessness, that the antidote is for us to be self-determined in how we define, conceptualize, and design our reality that's infused with love. A loveless society makes it seem like love is unattainable. The oppressors of a loveless society does not care about our spiritual growth and spiritual development. In a loveless society, you and I will always be pitted up against each other due to difference, due to class, due to gender, religion, etc. Love has no face. Love has no features. Love is expansive. Love is bold. Love is malleable. Love is the container. It also conforms. And it's elastic. Yeah. So in essence of love beyond the traditional sense or the European concept of romance and sexual love and infatuation, I urge you to find your source for love. And I urge you to explore it is that love is and what love is not, and how that supports your growth, your development, and your transformation. Love for me is how I show up in the world. It is the very lens in which I look at things with a broadened perspective, with humility. Love is not separate from anything that I do. Even if I have not explored the soul-to-soul experience with someone, I wear love as armor, as protection. I use it to enable and fuel and inspire me rather than debilitate and create limitation. And as we embark on this life journey, and we are called upon to do different things in order to support different aspects, different problem sets within our communities, I want you to remember, even in that time of despair and that time of darkness, or even when you experience disillusionment and disappointment, that love is, and love will always prevail. I want to share with you all this beautiful quote here in this great book, The Measure of Our Lives by Toni Morrison. And it is an amalgamation of all of her essential writings and placed in little quotes that are easy to digest. And I want to share this one because this one really touches my heart and really touches on the essence of what it is that love, just how powerful and empowering love is. Love is divine only in difficult ways. If you think it is easy, you are a fool. If you think it is natural, you are blind. It is a learned application without reason or motive, except that it is God. You do not deserve love regardless of the suffering you have endured. You do not deserve love because somebody did you wrong. You do not deserve love just because you want it. You can only earn by practice and careful contemplation the right to express it, and you have to learn to accept it, which is to say you have to earn God. You have to practice God. You have to think God carefully. This has been a blessing. This has been an honor and a privilege. I hope everything that I have shared with you ignites you, inspires you, validates your experiences, and affirms the richness and fullness of your humanity. Continue to keep supporting this podcast. Continue to keep supporting this co-creating life process journey. And I hope that you and we can continue to build and share and expand each other's perspectives. Peace, love, and be well.